Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Been a lot of talk about coaches on this channel lately and how it's a good problem when the NFL comes calling, when other schools are trying to poach your coaches. It tells me that we've got some good teachers, we've got developers of talent, we've got evaluators. I think we got a great coaching staff at the University of Tennessee, but at some point you want some continuity, right? We've already seen Jerry Mack off to the NFL. There were rumors, grumblings of Rodney Garner possibly going back to Auburn. Tennessee locked him down. It's good to have Coach G coming back for 2024, but now the rumors are starting to circulate. Could JeanMary be returning back to Michigan in a lateral move to coach linebackers for the Wolverines? And when this news first came out, I said there's no way. I just don't see it happening. I don't see why JeanMary would make that lateral move. Now, if Michigan was offering a defensive coordinator position, maybe, but would he return to coach linebackers? We're going to get into that in just a second, but got a couple other things I want to take a look at. First and foremost is this. AP tweeted this out yesterday. Bru McCoy getting back up to speed. It's good to see him putting in a little work. 1%. You can see that shirt there, 1%, Vol mindset. It's good to see Bru McCoy on the path to recovery. We talked about how important it was for us selfishly as fans to get Bru McCoy back for 2024, but also for him, right, to get healthy, to be able to come back, make that return. One last ride for Vol football, so it's exciting to see Bru McCoy putting that work in, getting healthy. One other thing I wanted to take a look at, shine a spotlight on before we talk about JeanMary and these rumors, is this right here. Jim Nagy put out this year, we lost a beloved member of the Senior Bowl family. He goes on to say, Brian Ingbrand, in his honor, we created a Good Guy Award, which will be presented yearly to the Senior Bowler who is just a great guy behind the scenes. We are proud to announce the inaugural winner of this award is Joe Milton. We appreciate you being such a good dude, Joe. You'll be a great addition to any NFL QB room. And look, I know I get it. I understand. Joe Milton, he took a lot of criticism this year, and maybe rightfully so, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't necessarily as bad as we thought at times, but something we've always talked about is the culture that Josh Heupel has created and the relationship between Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker. Joe, a guy that came in, he thought this was his job. He was being brought in by Josh Heupel to be the starting quarterback at Tennessee, loses the job to Hendon Hooker. We know what Hendo Cinco did. Should have been in New York going for the Heisman Trophy campaign. Not saying he deserved to win it, but he deserved to be there. He deserved to represent this university, and Joe Milton was right by his side. Joe Milton elects to come back another year. We said it over and over and over going into this 2023 season a year ago that Joe Milton chose Tennessee twice. And then in comes Nico, the 5-star kid, the $8 million man, the kid with the golden arm. The sexiest guy on the team's always the backup quarterback. What does Joe do? Takes him under his wing, mentors him. And I know, at times we were critical of Joe. When you look at the grand scheme of things, threw for almost 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He threw for 32 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions in his entire career at Tennessee. I think Joe may go down as one of those guys that maybe we didn't like as much as we should have when he was here, but there's one thing you can't deny. Joe Milton, great man, great person. Excited to see what the future holds for Joe. So I wanted to put a spotlight on that as well, but let's get into the task at hand. Let's talk about these rumors. Let's talk about JeanMary, and let's talk about Michigan. But first and foremost, I need you guys to do me a favor. Smash the thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy, it helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts, we're not insiders, we're not media, we're not talking at you, we're talking with you here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Also, if you like the content, you like the live streams, you're here for every video, think about supporting this channel. It is for the fans, by the fans. It's also fan-funded. Hit that join button down below. You can become a member of the channel for $1. All kinds of perks and benefits. We would appreciate that support. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about the rumors, the news, what's going on with JeanMary. You can see John Bryce retweeted this from Football Scoop. Wink is looking to nail down some hires in the next 24 to 48 hours. Sources, Tennessee Vols assistant JeanMary emerges as a top target at Michigan. Now, again, this is to go coach linebacker, so it's that lateral move. So is this a money play? Is this all about money? And if so, how does Tennessee respond? How do they counter? We're going to get into all that. Here's the article from Football Scoop. Says less than a week after losing arguably its top offensive assistant, Josh Heupel's Tennessee football program could be poised to lose a top defensive assistant. Multiple sources tell Football Scoop that Vols linebacker coach JeanMary has emerged as a top target for the linebacker's job at Michigan. Sound familiar? JeanMary was hired away from Michigan by Heupel and company 2 years ago, but the Wolverines are retooling their staff on both sides of the ball after losing former head coach Jim Harbaugh and defensive coordinator Jesse Minter to the NFL's Los Angeles Chargers. Now, that's the thing for me. If Michigan was offering a defensive coordinator position, right, you understand that move. It's kind of like Alex Golesh. What was his next move? He was the offensive coordinator under Josh Heupel, gets the head coaching gig. Of course he takes that. And that's what we want to see in the grand scheme of things. I said that when Golesh went to USF. Hopefully, if things work out perfect, you would hope that Coach Halsley develops and becomes a great play caller, and ultimately he ends up as a head coach at another school. So that's what you want to see. But to see a lateral move, would Brian JeanMary be willing to make that lateral move to coach linebackers at the University of Michigan? Says Moore since has hired Don Wink Martindale, a long-tenured, esteemed NFL defense coordinator, to run the Michigan defense, and sources told Football Scoop Tuesday that Moore and Martindale have engaged JeanMary in discussions to return to Ann Arbor, Michigan. It says last Friday, Football Scoop and Matt Zenitz of 247 Sports were the first to report that the Vols were on the verge of losing outstanding running backs coach Jerry Mack to the NFL. So let's talk about this, and let's break it down, and let's see if there is any truth to what's going on here. And again, when I first saw the news, the initial reaction was this is not going to happen. He's not going to make that move. Went to VolQuest to see what Austin Price had to say. Really kind of said the same thing. He didn't see Brian JeanMary making that move. And then Sam Webb, he's over at Michigan Insider at 247 Sports. This was 2 days ago as the rumors were kind of starting to pick up a little steam. Sam Webb says, yesterday I also mentioned Brian JeanMary as a likely linebacker coaching target. Well, things have escalated to JeanMary being a definite target now. Says sources say contact has been made and interest is mutual. His buyout proved not to be a deterrent for Michigan. Neither was a sizable pay raise to $665,000 he made in Knoxville last year. This was just step one of what sources say will be a strong run at luring JeanMary back to Ann Arbor that shouldn't be taken to mean he's the only target on the board, especially since Josh Heupel is expected to prioritize keeping him at Tennessee. But it's fair to call JeanMary the top target. Now, I would ask you guys, how do you feel about losing Brian JeanMary? I think, last year we saw some struggles at the linebacker position, but you also got to realize, Keenan Peely went down early in the season. Aaron Beasley was kind of moved around to his unnatural position. I feel like he didn't have as big of a senior year as we expected. Elijah Herring was thrown out there as a true sophomore, kind of thrown to the wolves. He struggled at times. But if you look at recruiting, I think you got to be pretty happy adding, Arian Carter, adding Jalen Smith and Jeremiah Thielander, some of the guys that they've added in that class, Edwin Spillman coming in. I think he's done a good job on the recruiting trail. This is the most recent update from 13 hours ago. So late last night, also from the same guy, Sam Webb, over at Michigan Insider at 247 Sports, says, following my breaking news report on Moore's aggressive offer to Tennessee's linebacker coach Brian JeanMary, I received word that the Volunteers had come back with a counter offer. But multiple sources with knowledge of the courtship tell me Moore made a huge financial commitment in anticipation of that, and they expect JeanMary to accept the offer to rejoin Michigan staff tomorrow. So again, these are experts. These are insiders that cover the Michigan football team over there at 247 Sports. What they are saying, Michigan made an offer. Tennessee came back with a counter offer with more money. They anticipated that, so word of mouth. They made that verbal offer. If Tennessee counters, here's what we're willing to do. And confirmed that with Austin Price, said this is a verbal offer. There is nothing in writing for the counter to the counter, if that makes sense. AP also said expect to hear something either later this afternoon or tonight. But, something that's interesting, again, it's coming from the Michigan insiders that are saying expect Brian JeanMary to accept this offer. These are the same guys that put it out there that Brian JeanMary was not accepting calls from Tennessee insiders, from Tennessee media. AP raised an eyebrow at that. So take it for what it's worth. Is there any truth to this? Are you guys concerned? It's a good problem to have. That's what we've been talking about going back to Rodney Garner, right? You want other schools to be interested in your coaches, but you also want some continuity. You want to be able to return those guys. I would say, it softens the blow if Brian JeanMary does go. It does soften the blow that it's two coaches on two opposite sides of the ball, so that helps out a little bit. But I want you guys to tell me what you think. Are you concerned? Do you think Brian JeanMary is returning back to Michigan? Jump into the comments section. As always, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. It's quick, free, and easy. We would appreciate it. Go check out the merchandise, bonfire.com. YouTube.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link is in the description below. We appreciate the way you guys support the channel. Make sure you're locked in, dialed in. Going to do a live stream soon. Want to do a fan call-in show. Also want to do a watch party for either a baseball game or a basketball game. So make sure you guys are dialed in, following us on all forms of social media so we can keep you guys up to date. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.